Gives you an overview of what's going on. So in the setup, the tag happens down here, and at the end of it you get tag number coming out. So if I just run this program, if I uncomment this with text and run this program down, you'll see what the tag number looks like. Like I say, don't worry if you don't understand the code right now. It's just to give you an idea of what's happening.
A few people are getting errors from the first line of code which says include formatter.
Which will store all the tags you use. In the begin, you set up serial communication to the laptop at 5,604. That's the transmission rate. And then underneath it, this block of code actually, we go up here. I've got a constant here, 20, which is the maximum number of keeping track of animals, and when they go for slaughter, you can see the whole sort of life cycle in detail. In manufacturing, they use them to identify tools automatically, so robots will pick up a particular tool and it can detect it because of an RFID tag built into that tool. Sport time recording, I think it's London Marathon uses tags tied to the shoelaces, and as you run across the reader buried in the road, it measures the time you've taken. Monitoring, so you've got these tags that get strapped to people who are under house arrest, for instance, and if they wander away out of the range of the reader, the police can be alerted, and eventually behind weapons. There are more sophisticated systems that are more than just giving a serial number. They've got sensors built into it, for instance, temperature sensors. So they've got an RFID tag which is put inside a cow's stomach, and it's got a temperature sensor that can measure the cow's body temperature, and so as the cow moves through a gate, the system can collect data about the health and so on. More sort of creative uses. A couple of years ago, there was looking at there's an event called Monomore, which was looking at using RFID tags in a more sort of artistic setting, and basically there were reader units linked up to computers so that a particular tag was associated with a movie file. So you see this is a RFID tag number there, and it was associated to this movie file on the laptop. So as you put your RFID tag against the reader, it played a particular movie file for you. So going around an exhibition like this, on the screen, but these are lots of units with readers, and each visitor had a card, and as they went around, they could play various videos on the screen. This is the road toll application I mentioned. So you have an active tag on the inside of your windscreen, and as you drive along and pass the antennas, it automatically charges toll. This was an application developed by Prada, where the clothes had an RFID tag built in, and when you walked into one of the changing rooms, this has a reader. You can just about see the coils built into the walls of the changing room, and it would detect the RFID tag on the item of clothing that you're trying on, and as you're in the room, it could play video clips of models wearing it, what it would look like, give you suggestions about people who bought this item also bought X accessories to go with it, etc. There's some controversy about RFID because people are worried about the whole sort of tracking part of it. So there was a thing a couple of years ago about Gillette started putting in RFID tags into the razor blade packaging. And every time you bought the, if you took the packet off the shelf, it triggered a CCTV camera system to start taking pictures of you as you walked off with this cart. So you can see in the packet, the RFID tag built into the packet. And the system would start taking images, and the idea was to try and prevent shoplifting.
Razors being a big target for shoplifters.
Razors are a huge target for shoplifters because they're incredibly expensive and they're a small packet you slip in your pocket. And a packet of razors is like £10, it's only this big. So, outrageous rip-off. So, I like the way the shoplifter is assumed to have a baseball cap. So the system could track people moving across. So there was quite a lot of controversy about surveillance, the whole sort of surveillance issues. So there were some protests about privacy and that kind of thing. There's even a logo about it. So that's kind of RFID in general.